Okay. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. It's recording. Okay.
That's great. Okay. Hey
Uh,
guys,
hey Alexa. Hey
welcome.
Natalia. Hey Saurav. Hey yo everyone. Okay, there are so many
Yeah,
people.
so you can see participants. I don't think I can. Lucky you.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Hello Hannah. Hello Kevin. Hello Kate. Hello Alona. Hello everyone. So while
Hello
you're joining,
guys.
please tell us where are you right now? It's just like hi from New York, hi from Boston, hi from Kyiv, hi from Warsaw, hi from Amsterdam. Just say hi from your location. Los Angeles. Oh my God. Hello,
Good job.
hello. Hello, India. Hello, San Francisco. Wow.
Wow.
Oh my God. Hey, hey, hey. Hello, Ohio. Hello, Kharkiv.
Kharkiv, no way.
I guess we are both from Kharkiv, right? Olga? You're from Kharkiv as well.
Absolutely. Do you remember that moment that we met in the elevator when we first
Yeah,
met at
yeah.
SaaS Growth Hacks, and then the next thing you know, I just sing you in the elevator. It's like, hey, Ilya. Hey, Olga. So
Hello.
yeah, we both are from Kharkiv,
Hey, Philippines. Hello, Kevin from Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Okay, awesome.
Okay, amazing, guys. So I guess welcome to our new event, and today we're going to have a conversation with our dear guest, Ilya Azovtsev, growth expert at Expandian. Welcome, Ilya. We're glad to have you here with us today.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. And I hope that I'll be able to share something useful with and for you today. Thanks
Absolutely.
for
And
having me.
for those of you who are not aware, Expandy is a LinkedIn automation tool. Bootstrap company grown from 0 to 8 million ARR in just 3 years. And before joining Expandy, Ilya has been growing Lemlist. He's joined as employee number 3 and left at 10 million ARR. Great job. So Ilya has a lot of wisdom and knowledge to share with us today. So you guys, those of you who have questions along our conversation, just write them up here in Zoom. There is a Q&A button that you can use. And we'll also dedicate about, 15 to 20 minutes at the end of our chat, to answer those questions. Okay. So, given the topic of today's conversation, I want to clarify one thing, Ilya. So, when people say outbound, most of the time that would mean cold outreach through, email or LinkedIn, and when they say inbound, that would be some sort of SEO channel, like people coming through Google to your website organically. But we all know that the terms they could be wider than that. And can you tell us how do you normally approach these terms? Like, what do we really mean when saying inbound or outbound to begin with?
Yeah, okay. Actually, the very first thing, yeah, we can all agree with that, with the fact that okay, SEO it's usually about inbound and cold emails. It's usually about outbound and like in 99.9% of cases. But if you do a step back, it's always like one thing. Like, okay, there is different levels of like the funnel of the decision-making process. And at some point, people become like they are interested in talking to you. So usually inbound, not usually, it's inbound. It's when people are coming to you and they are leads that are coming to you and start asking you some questions like let's just work together. When it comes to outbound, it's usually whenever we reach out to someone, we assume that they might have this problem and we reach out to them. So for
Mm-hmm.
example, usually when we say LinkedIn, it means outbound, right? So we try to connect with people on LinkedIn and try to reach out to them, try to build relationships with them and convert them into the actual conversations. But LinkedIn might be also like a great inbound opportunity, right? Because whenever we share our articles, whenever we build the personal brand in there and start sharing the content, people start reaching out to us. So actually the difference is pretty simple. Like, people reach out to us inbound. We reach out to people outbound. I would define that pretty simple. So, yeah,
Okay,
pretty simple
well,
way.
that is good. Now that is clear. We've been chatting with a lot of SaaS clients over the years, and when some of them asked us about our SEO content services, sometimes we'd have to say, well, no, it's not going to work for you at this stage. So, for example, there was this SaaS client. It's a AI professional photo generator, and they're charging like $10, and it's just once, right? So they're not charging a retainer. There's no recurring payment. It's just $10, right? And given the number of searches per month, I said, well, you might want to try something else. You might want to try social media ads, for example. And yeah, sometimes we see that the ROI is just not there. So when would you say it makes sense to choose inbound and when outbound? Is there any sort of criteria or decision-making algorithm that early stage SaaS founders can follow?
Yeah. For me, it just feels like pretty simple. So whenever we are talking about SaaS, usually we talk about different SaaS models, right? We talk about the self-serve model, transactional model, enterprise. And yeah,
Yeah.
that's the only three business models we have when it comes to B2B SaaS. Whenever it comes to B2C SaaS, usually outbound, it's not the way for you, because usually you charge not enough money. So whenever it comes to any fitness app, it just doesn't make sense, to charge like with the way that you charge only $10 per month, reaching out to everyone through cold email. It's just not working. So whenever we're talking about B2C SaaS, I'm not sure that outbound is going to work for you. When it comes to B2B SaaSes, we definitely need to define the actual business model. So self-serve, transactional, enterprise level. So again, like just a quick thing about here. Quickly, that's a spoiler for the self-serve model. Outbound is never working like pretty well. Whenever you're charging, like it's like Calendly. So if you charge only like, I don't know, $20 per month, for a year, it's now $250 per year and so on and so forth. It just doesn't make sense for you to run outbound campaigns, because you need to send a huge volume. You need to have great conversions, because whenever you send the cold emailing, you need people click there, they need to sign up, or they need to go to a call with you, and so on and so forth. It just doesn't make sense. Whenever it comes to enterprise level market, usually whenever we're talking about the enterprise level market, it's so hard to build the inbound motion there. Why? Because people need to trust you. People need to see the level of expertise. So it usually takes some time for you to find the distribution channels, to like gain the SEO motion and so on and so forth. So usually when it comes to the enterprise market, you definitely need to get, I don't know, 5, 10 leads per month. You don't need a lot, because if you close that one lead with the enterprise business model, okay, you're pretty happy about that.
You're
The
a
real thing
winner.
is that, yeah, when it comes to the enterprise level market, usually we are talking about the outbound, but in the way of account-based marketing. So whenever you try to approach those potential clients, but you try to narrow your niche, narrow your search, try to even write manually your messages, not even automate the whole outbound. So it's still outbound, but that's a different type. That's account-based marketing. The last thing
Yeah.
is transactional model. Transactional model, it's whenever we charge starting from 10K per year, that can be call like a transactional model. And usually that means that even if you charge $100 per month per one user, but if you switch your audience to, okay, the team of 10 people, for you, it means like, okay, that's a transactional model. That's a great client to close through outbound. And usually, yes, outbound, you can start with outbound definitely. Why? Because today you created the website, today you launched, you got the first motion, and you got the first, graph of traffic there. But the real thing is that you don't have enough resources to, build the blog, create a huge newsletter, and so on and so forth. It takes you time. But imagine that tomorrow you can start cold email or LinkedIn outreach campaign and start generating conversations right away. So it just feels like outbound can work pretty well for the transactional model. At the same time, it works for the enterprise level clients, but in the way of account-based marketing. And for the self-serve B2B sales, it just doesn't work at all. And here is why. Because actually, cold emailing, LinkedIn, and those are two main channels for the outbound. And we always need to understand that it has its own limitations. With LinkedIn, you cannot send tons of messages. You cannot send millions of messages, right? So you are limited. With cold emailing, you are less limited because you can create several domains, warm them up, and so on and so forth. But you have much higher risks to go to spam, have some problems with deliverability, and so on and so forth. So it's just a complex and a comprehensive, thing. And you're still limited with the amount of messages that you can send. So just imagine that with the limitations that you have, but at the same time, with the ability to book the calls right away, you also have the average deal size, and you need to find the balance between that. You need to find the balance between the average deal size. So if it's low, you need to have a huge amount of cold emails or LinkedIn messages to send. And at the end, you're limited with that. So you cannot just do that. So average deal size, the volume that you can send, and the risks that you have, because you can always get some restrictions on your LinkedIn account. You have some problems with deliverability and so on and so forth. So at the end of the day, you always need to find the balance between those three things. And as a result, usually transactional SaaS model is working pretty well. So if you charge starting from 10K per year for the deal size, and this is the deal size, that totally makes sense to do that and start with the outbound.
And how do you define that transactional model? Is it by deal size, or is it also by the ability to expand the number of seats, or generally to expand the like what you charge?
Yeah, okay. So actually, if we step back, again, there are three models. The first one, let's say enterprise level models, like for example, Salesforce. You charge a lot. At the same time, you cannot start using the product pretty well or some specific types of the features without talking to the sales department. So usually the products are like a pretty, the price is pretty high, but at the same time, you get a lot of support from their sales team, and you cannot just, sign up, add your credit card, and boom, you're working, everything's fine, and so on and so forth. Usually those types of products and SaaS products are usually require the implementation in your systems and the ecosystem of your products, and so on and so forth. So it's the enterprise level market. The second, and sometimes it's okay if, for example, Slack charges you, I don't know, $5 per month, right, for one user, and feels like it's a self-serve model. And it is. But with some high ticket clients, they have thousands of people who want to use Slack. And for them, that's already enterprise level market, because they cannot just, or they usually don't just sign up, add thousands of their employees and colleagues to Slack and just pay and so forth, because they want to negotiate, they want to see what are the best practices, they want to get a dedicated account and so on and so forth. So even with some products that we usually know and use as a self-serve model, they also have the enterprise level model. Slack, it's a great example. But when it comes to the transaction, usually it means that, the product is less comprehensive than enterprise. Yeah, that's definitely true. But at the same time, the price is higher. For example, Expandy, it's a self-serve B2B SaaS, right? You just sign up, you pay $99 per month. Okay, everything's great. But what if you are a team of 10 salespeople? Now you need different set of features. Now you need a different level of support. Now you need a different price negotiation process, and so on and so forth. So for us, it's becoming the transactional model. So we are like self-serve for self-serve clients, and the transactional model with the support, dedicated support, nice sales process with specific set of features, CRM integrations, and so forth. That's for the transactional model. So yeah,
Extra attention, basically, that that requires.
Yeah, but for a higher price.
Yeah, absolutely. Otherwise, it's not going to be paying for itself, right? Okay, well, now that we are clear about that, let's focus on outbound for a moment. I'm getting more and more cold messages these days to my inbox, and honestly, I mark most of them as spam, guilty. And I can even say that I'm kind of like allergic to cold outreach. I can spot it a mile away. And, when I see it, I usually delete it unless it's like super relevant and it's like super personalized. So these days, what would you say is the key for success with outbound? How do you stand out from this super crowded market? Everyone and their dog is doing pretty much the same thing. There's thousands of emails getting out every single day. How do you get that email delivered and open and not sent to spam?
Yeah, okay. So actually, let's do a step back. The fundamentals of the great outbound, it's always the same. It's just the level of perception is different. So for example, 20 years ago, whenever you personalize your first name, like say, hi, Olga, hello, Sarah, hi, Adam, and so on and so forth, that means, wow, this email is so personalized.
Revolution.
Yes, they know my name. Oh my God, and so on and so forth. So yeah, it worked. Now it's not enough. Hi, Ilya, it just doesn't mean anything, right? Like for me. That's A. B, like the personalization is always the key. So you actually show to the person that you are a relevant person to talk to. So you are at the right time and you did your homework by learning more about them. So you're not just saying, hello, I don't know who you are, but I just want to sell you something. So that's A, the personalization. B, the relevancy. So you actually need to be relevant. And those are the fundamentals. Everyone knows about that, right? The third one, it's usually better if you go like through different channels. What I mean is that, yes, LinkedIn might work, but at the same time, you're limited with the amount of messages that you can send. With cold emailing, the conversion rates are much less. Why? Because it's dehumanized. The LinkedIn
Mhm.
is much more humanized. People see your face, people see your
Yeah.
who you are. They understand your, like, they can check your content and so on and so forth. So
Mhm.
they trust you more. And so with this understanding, you are like, yeah, it's better to go multi-channel, right? So at the end of the day, the principles are similar. It was the same 3 or 5 years ago. But the real question is how to do that. And this how to do
Yeah.
that is different right now. So again, if 5 years ago it was more than enough to just create one icebreaker and just say, hey, I saw that you liked someone's post, and that's why I'm reaching out to you. It was already, wow, pretty cool. Or personalize the image and just say, hey, here's me with the cup or with the bottle, and this is your name, and so on and so forth. It was, wow, oh
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
God, that's pretty cool. Now it's overused. And the thing is that because the whole outreach software market is so democratized with the price, you can just invest $100 and already send thousands of emails or hundreds of LinkedIn messages. Everyone is doing that, and everyone is implementing the same tricks and growth hacks and
Techniques.
strategies.
Yeah.
That's why it's becoming overused. Now the real question is, okay, how to level up all of those principles and all like the tactics based on those principles, how to become relevant, how to personalize, and how to actually bring some value to people. So those are the questions. And right now, the actual solution is always do the step back and understand your audience much more. So whenever, and I'm pretty sure that everyone here has its own ICP and target audience, buyer persona, and so on and so forth. It's all written. You already have that.
Yeah.
The question is, you're not using this in the right way when it comes to outbound. So what you need to do is take a look at your ICP again. Focus not on the amount of employees or the geo or the decision maker, CEO. Okay, it's easy. But try to focus on the challenges, business problems, KPIs, and OKRs that this specific person, this specific decision maker has. And based on that understandings, try to convert that into the actual filters. Try not to convert simple questions, right? What's the size of the company into the filter? Okay, it's easy, 0 to 10 or 11 to 50. That's easy. But try to convert the business problems and challenges into the filters. For example, if we are selling the software for sales teams with 10 plus sales reps in the team, in a specific industry, in specific geo, and our decision maker is VP of sales, it's much better to reach out to those VP of sales who just came to this company. Why? Because it means that they just hired a VP of sales and this person has the budget. This person has the authority. And this person has the need to make some changes. Because if everything was fine, they wouldn't fire the previous VP of sales and so forth. They would just, that would be pretty. So the real thing is here, we need to take a look at the filters that we have in the Sales Navigator or Apollo or any other tool through the perspective of the business challenges. Try to implement the interpretation of the business problems into the filters. That was the one example. The second one, if, for example, they are hiring a lot of salespeople. So they had only 2 salespeople, now they have 10. That just happened during the last 6 months, like this. What that means for us? That usually means for us that they are rapidly growing. They need more leads because they now have more salespeople, because they want to still grow. And the third thing that means, the fact means that usually their systems are not there yet because they hired a lot of people and they still don't know quite, they are still not quite sure how to work with all of them, how to keep the same level of the quality. That's why in your sales pitch, you do the reference to that. Just say, hey, we'll help you. Are you satisfied with the current, do you have enough leads coming from LinkedIn for your new sales reps? If you want to increase that amount, okay, we can discuss because we have the systems in place. We can have them like custom onboarding that will actually take the product and implement it into your sales team processes and will connect it to your CRM. So you will be able to understand what's going on with your LinkedIn lead generation, for example, and so on and so forth. So whenever you start taking a look at the whole ICP from the filters perspective and the converting these business problems and challenges into the actual filter set, for you, it will be much, much easier to be relevant, to be at the right point of time to contact with them. And then whenever you start converting all of those insights that you get into the copywriting, you will be personalized enough. Because personalization is not about, hey, I saw that you liked the post. It's about, hey, I saw that you just became the VP of sales at this company. Probably you are facing with this amount of problems right now. That's why we want to talk to you. I guess we can help. So I just feel that there is a fit between us and you. And that moment, you don't feel that this email is not personalized because it's not about the customer arrivals. It's about the way you are approaching them. And the second one, they understand that you're relevant. And the third thing is that you are actually bringing some value. Because if they understand that if they talk to you, they will get a pretty amazing consultation about their current processes because they understand that you are an expert. And when it comes to the whole multi-channel stuff and the chance to approach people, yeah, definitely it's better right now to use several channels. Like, okay, try LinkedIn with email, try to connect with people on LinkedIn, and if they don't reply to you, just send them emails and vice versa.
And like when it comes to scaling, is it possible to scale that kind of multi-channel outreach? And also from what you're saying, seems like we have to do, so much homework, right? Like regarding our target audience. And how does that, translate into scaling? How can you scale something that you need to research so much and sometimes, trying to understand each of your specific customers, sort of like account-based almost?
Yeah, that's a good question. So when it comes to scaling, we can scale in 2 ways. The first one, if you feel that okay, something is working, we just need to send more messages, and okay, it's already working. then simply, if you're sending cold emails, just create a few more domains, a few more email accounts per each domain, warm them up for a month or two, and then send more messages. When it comes to LinkedIn, okay, now you have only salespeople who are using LinkedIn. What if you ask your marketing team to send those messages? Because it's just, the scale, the amount of messages, it's not the real problem. The real problem is, okay, how to scale the research part. And here is the
the
thing
research part,
that,
exactly.
yeah, and here's the thing that whenever it comes to the research, like you always need to find the balance between the amount of research you need to be relevant and personalized and the volume of the messages that you can send. Because again, if you are in the enterprise level market, you can send one message per day, one cold email per day, but it's written manually and extremely personalized. It means 30 people, you will reach out to only 30 people. And if it's working for you and you close one client out of that in the enterprise market, you're happy with that.
Very good. Yeah.
So whenever we're talking about this, we are usually talking about, okay, we like with the transactional level that we need to find the balance between the volume and the personalization. And in order to scale this process, you can go above the current tool set that you have. So for example, you're using Sales Navigator to search, right? But then you need to enrich this data. So you found someone, you found the list of people. Now it's not enough for you. You need to find something else. So for example, you scrape this list of 500 people, for example, 1,000 people, and you want to personalize better. So you go and enrich this data by using some tools like Clay. You can probably use Apollo even for that in some specific cases, and so on and so forth. You try to implement some growth hacking techniques to get and extract a bit more data. For example, I found a lot of companies that are matching with my ICP and so on and so forth. Now I'm downloading this, uploading this to Clay, and ask Clay to show me who of these companies or people are actually hiring for salespeople right now. And if I get this information, then for me, okay, that's already personalized approach. I already found that. I don't need to spend manually. You see what I mean?
So it's about also knowing which tools to use, right? Like, knowing that you should use Clay at some point, and this is Apollo and this is like other tools.
Yeah. But yes. But the real thing is that usually people need to start with something. And if they don't get any results right now, Clay will not help you, or Apollo will not help you with some. You need to actually step back and understand your ICP and target audience at the very beginning, because those data enrichment things that will let you find a bit more information, do the transition between this data that you got, this enriched data that you got, into the actual message and so on and so forth. Those things will just only help you get better results, but it will not go from 0 to 10, or to 1. If you're still on the 0 moment, like a 0 point when you don't get any results, it doesn't matter whether you're using Clay or not. You will still get
Now, of course. Like, also putting yourself into your customer's shoes, like, would that kind of outreach message make them tick? Because sometimes I just get messages that are so weird, and they're just so alike. It seems like everybody's just using this template. Someone is sharing the template and everyone else is just using it, and you can spot it a mile away, really. So get creative, guys.
And it's still working. Like, yes, it's still working.
Surprisingly, for someone, right? But probably not for bigger clients, definitely. You need to get more creative than that when approaching those bigger guys.
Sometimes yes, but what if this template is just working for someone? Just scale it, just send more messages. Because the whole, it's always, you've always think that you know how to do outbound, but then you meet someone who's sending a really simple cold email. It's working perfectly. So it's just bringing a lot of leads and it's just working. So in some cases it might work.
Yeah, I mean, you never know, of course, but I've gotten, I'm not sure how many quick question subject line emails these days. And I was like, once it worked for someone, it used to work. I'm not sure if it's working anymore, but I did get quite a few. And honestly, I delete all of them without reading. Yeah. So there have been quite a few comments under our event announcement, and they were saying something along the lines of, yeah, definitely you should use both inbound plus outbound, always together. Do you think it always makes sense to combine those? Or is there a case where you'd say outbound is not really the way to go? Well, I mean, you've already answered that a little bit, but like, should they always come
Yeah.
together?
I don't know. The real answer is that it depends on what is your current stage. So if
Yeah,
you are on a very early stage, it doesn't make sense to invest in so many buckets. Why? Because you will not be successful in any of those channels because you need a lot of resources. You need to have a dedicated team or a dedicated person. You need to spend and invest your time and money into a specific channel. So that's the same question that to ask, what if I don't have the money and the budget for blog and I don't have people for blog? Should I write blog? No, you should
yeah,
not, because you don't have any resources. It just will not work. So the real thing is that it just feels like it depends on your stage and your goals. If you have the resources, yeah, try to go both and then see how it's working, because it's just help. That's a comprehensive, or not comprehensive, complementary. Like inbound and outbound is just working together. Why? Because with outbound, you can actually reach out to people and get the conversations right away and get those insights and convert them into really great articles and distribute those articles based on the feedback that you got from those people. And boom, you get traffic. Wow, awesome. You found a pretty good source of insights from your market, to create really great and expert level of the content. And that's working. Or the second way, okay, now we are creating the articles and everyone is reading those articles. So next time, whenever I send my outbound campaign, people will see, oh my God, that's Ilya from Expandy. We read a few articles from you. Now we trust you. That's why I will read your email or I will read your LinkedIn
mm-hmm,
connection
mm-hmm.
request and I will accept it because I trust you because of the brand of the blog and the content, in this whole atmosphere that, okay, I guess I know you. So those two things are working together perfectly, but at the same time, it depends on your stage. So if you're in the early stage, it just probably doesn't make sense to invest in both channels because both are pretty hard, right? Really. If you don't have any
Yeah,
resources, don't do that.
we know that. Yeah, so when a client comes over, let's say let's do some role playing here. I'm a client with 1K budget per month, and I'm coming to you and saying, Ilya, I have 1K per month. What should I do? Where should I invest it? Is it inbound, outbound? Should I just not invest at all? What would be your advice?
Yeah, first of all, I would say that don't try to invest this 1K into the paid ads because paid ads is not a cumulative, thing. And if you feel that, okay, it's working and it's your SaaS, and usual SaaS means trials, churn, LTV, and so on and so forth. Usually, you need to have a pretty big budget in order to experiment with ads, because on the scale of $200 for experimentation, you will not be able to actually make decisions whether it's working or not for you,
Absolutely.
because you always have, because you're not selling the some stuff on the like on your e-commerce. You are selling something with the free trial, with the churn and retention of the first months, with LTV, with this and that,
Yeah.
with activation, and with all of those product metrics. And you
Yeah.
don't get money right away in the SaaS business. For you, it's important to
Mm-hmm.
get the LTV. So yeah, I would say that don't try. It depends, of course, on your situation, but I wouldn't go with paid ads for that. When it comes to whether it should be outbound or inbound, it depends on your market and your overall strategy. If you like, for example, if you it's only three of you, like three co-founders, and one of them is a huge marketing background and knows how copywriting works and knows how has the access to some distribution channels, I would say, yeah, just try to scale your content creation with more people, just hire more content writers and accelerate this approach. If you don't have that, and you're one of your co-founders and your internal expertise is more in sales, and your first clients came from outbound, try to scale this. Try to hire like a few freelancers
Makes
who are
sense.
going to search and do this and that and so on and so forth. So I
Yeah.
would say that decision-making process, like there is no right answer. There are so many factors, right? One of them is what expertise do you have internally? The second one, how did your first clients, come to you at the very beginning? So, and try to scale this. If they come to you because
That's
of your
usually
content,
word of mouth. Like most of
yeah,
the
yeah, of
SaaS,
course,
there's
yeah.
word of mouth, word of mouth. That's what they say. And yeah, a lot of them are trying pay per click. The paid ads. That's for some reason that's number one marketing channel that everyone's trying. But yeah, definitely.
I understand why, because you try to find something scalable, because now you get these results and you think that, oh, okay, what if I just invest 1 million and not 1K per month? Probably will accelerate a lot. So it probably makes sense for me to go and raise some money so I can just accelerate this with this approach. But the real problem with ads, especially on the early stage, is that people don't trust you. People don't know you. And the ads don't build the trust. Ads tries to sell
No.
you, like whenever you see ads, you just, you either pay or not. But it's not about the actual, trust that you try to build. And the early stage is pretty important because people don't know you, and you need to tell them that A, you are an expert, and B, you understand their problems, and C, you can solve those problems. And just feels like the
Hmm.
ads don't usually solve this on the early stage, but Outbound doesn't solve that as well. Outbound just lets you get to the conversation faster. So to validate the
Yeah.
ideas faster, get the feedback from the market faster. So yeah.
Okay. We have one of the questions from anonymous attendee, and it says, so if the first clients came from outbound reach directly by the founders with sales background, how would you use freelancers to scale this?
Just
Interesting.
it just feels like usually if the lead or the client came from outbound campaign, that usually means that okay, the founder, did some research, wrote something, and what if you just replicate the same research, the same search on a bigger scale? So just say, okay, I reached out to only 100 people, and but in my search it was 10K people. What if I reach out to 10K people all? Like, we'll probably get, I don't know, 100 more clients? Probably. That's A.
Hmm.
B, you can always experiment. So you just reached out to some people, they said you yes, and then you have another audience, and you don't have enough time to invest into that. So you just hire a freelancer who will do the research, and that, or the freelancer who would set up you several email campaigns or several email domains. Usually the freelancers are hired for the outbound. Usually it means, okay, we need more research. We need more people who will find some icebreakers. We'll need more people who will just use a set of tools to make sure that people we are reaching out to are relevant and they are ICP fit. You see what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah, definitely. But like speaking of the budgets, and we discussed, 1K is probably not enough, but what kind of budget roughly would you say a client has to operate in order to start proper lead gen process, so to say, with
Outbound?
outbound and inbound, yeah, like all of the combination. And
Yeah,
we know
with the
we have
inbound,
numbers on our side, but I'm just curious, like what do you normally say to the clients? Because that's interesting.
yeah, that's a great question. Again, it all starts with the like what type of the system that you want to build and what's your current position on the market. So and what's your current stage? So if you're in early stage, don't pay for a lot of tools. Just pay for one tool, one domain, several email accounts and start to like pay for the cheapest email finding tool, email finder, and boom, under $200, it's working. It's not working perfectly, but it's working somehow. So you can get your next conversations. Yes, it's not perfect, but once you see the ROI out of this channel with Outbound, it's easy to calculate the ROI. Just send this amount of messages, you got this amount of clients in 1 month, or the deal cycle that you have, the sales cycle that you have. And boom, then you understand, okay, we can invest more because we need to find more information. We need to send more messages. We need to personalize more. We need to work on our deliverability better, and so on and so forth. So you start investing more. I would say the baseline is just start with $200 or $300. If you're just at the very beginning, it doesn't sound a lot. And the second one, when it comes to inbound, it also depends on what type of the inbound motion you want to build. So for example, if you want to build a content machine with one article per day on your blog, that's totally different numbers. But again, if you're at the very beginning, create one blog article on your own because you are talking to the clients, right? Like each Sunday, write one article so you have 4 content pieces per month. Is it a lot? No, it's not. Did you hire someone? No, unfortunately, but you don't have enough resources. So what you do, you focus a lot on the distribution. So you go and try to share, convert one article into 3 or 4 LinkedIn posts, into 5 Twitter threads, into some Facebook community like posts, and so on and so forth, and see how it's working. Whenever you see that, okay, it's working better, now we understand what's working for us, and we need to create not one article per week and not with my time on my weekend, but with someone who is doing that with a better understanding of the SEO, with a better copywriting skills, and with a better, and I would just outsource that. So you start outsourcing that and if you don't have enough budget, you just do it by yourself. Once you have some budgets, start hiring people, and either freelancers or in-house people or agencies. It always depends on your current stage. You see what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean, clients, I know our clients, they often underestimate, how much time it takes to write a single article. Sometimes they're like, never mind, I'll just write it myself. You do the like essay recommendations. And then they realize that, that's actually hard work, writing content. You have to spend, so much time doing that. So yeah, sooner or later, they just outsource it.
Marketing
To
is not easy. That's,
no,
we're
not
all,
easy at all. It's a lot of
it
time.
would be, yeah.
Uh-huh. Go
If it's
ahead.
easy, I mean, like, you know.
Absolutely, I agree with you 100%. And guys, if you have some questions, feel free to share them in a Q&A section before I jump to my next question, as we still have a few minutes to answer. So feel free to jump on a Q&A section. So one of the last questions I have. So you've been employee number 3 at Lemnis, right? And you've been
The
growing
third
into
employee, the third employee. I don't know,
the
like
third.
not the
Ah,
number, the
okay.
third employee.
The third
I would
employee.
the third full-time employee. I would say it like this because we also had the video editor,
So who
Arlen.
was the first and second? Is it
The
like some
first one,
technical
I'm
role?
pretty sure that the first one was Book, the second was Anna, the third one was myself, Ilya. And we also have R1, that's the head of video, or like the video editor, or the guy who's
Yeah.
creating videos. And he was helping Guillaume at the very early stage as well with the video creation.
But like,
So I would say the
so
full-time employee was the third one.
these guys that you named, were they also on a growth team, or was it like development, design, something else?
No. And now it's a support book, growth and
Okay.
marketing, and like for me it was also growth and marketing. Yeah.
So 3 people, and out of those 3 people, 2 of them, they were growth marketers, basically. Yeah. In a very early
Yeah,
stage.
I would say yeah.
Interesting. So at what point would you say it makes sense to introduce, that growth expert, and like, should it be really employee number 1, you'd say, in a team?
Okay, I will be super honest with you. It depends on the structure of your co-founder team or your founders team. Why? Because if you have two developers, really awesome developers, and one founder with the marketing background, it just feels like you will always be able to create features faster because you have two people who are working on the development side, and you have only one person who's marketing this and selling this. That's why you actually need the next person, that the first employee that you would like to hire, it will be the person for marketing. Or that's one way. Or the second way, you start thinking about, okay, what, like I'm spending a lot of time on support, for example, helping people. What if we just outsource this? Like, I mean, what if I just delegate this? And this person will handle all the customer conversations. It is pretty important, especially on the early stage, to talk to clients. But I don't have enough time for finding new clients. That's why it will probably also make sense to hire the support team. Or, for example, the case is different. You have several product, aka marketing, growth related co-founders and only one developer. It just feels like you're promoting pretty well. You get a lot of users, but they're telling you that, okay, I'm missing some features, or you're not there. You're like, you get a lot, like a huge amount of valuable feedback, but you cannot transform this feedback into the real life. That's why you need to hire developers, or, you see what I mean? So it just feels
Yeah,
like
of
it
course,
depends on
depends.
the current situation. And I wouldn't say that your number one hire should be the growth marketer. Probably in some cases, it should be developer. In some cases, it should be a support person. In some cases, it might be salesperson, because you have a lot of leads and you actually need to have the person who will sell to them and just do the demo and so on and so forth. So
Yeah,
it depends on your current skills.
and filling the gaps. We have one question, but I think, since we have like very limited time, Ilias with us, until 50 minutes. So there was a question about warming up domains. Ilya, if maybe in 1 minute, in one short minute, because it seems like a quick, simple question. What did you mean by domain warm up?
Yeah, simple as this. So whenever you are, let's imagine, like, you are using email account, your own email account, to send cold emails. And what if nobody replies to you? So for Google or some other email systems, it just means that you're sending a lot of messages and don't get replies. Nobody is writing to you. And what that means, that probably means that you're a spammer, no? It's simple as it is. So what if that's what's actually we were the first on the market with Lemwarm to implement such a feature. So what we did, we tried to send automatically from one account to another across our database and people who are actually using this feature, send messages and reply to them automatically, for two reasons. The first one, we will be always show to you what is your spam rate. Because if you send 100 emails to other 100 email accounts, and we know like whether it went to spam or to important or to just general inbox, we'll tell you about that. But the second one will make this illusion for Google and other email systems that you are sending messages and you're getting replies. It's not just a spammy way. And as a result, it became a really crucial part of the email durability. So what it means that whenever you create a new email account, you cannot just start sending cold emails, because you will not get replies, and boom, Google will think that you created the email just to spam. That's bad, that's bad. That's why it's pretty important whenever you create new accounts, warm this up. Because for Google, it means, okay, this is an active user, and this person is sending cold emails and getting cold emails, and everyone is responding to each other, all good. Or with a high chance they're responding to each other, nice. But the second one, if you already have the domain that you're and the email account that you are using for sending, will be always be able to A, show you what is your current spam rate, but B, will be always to be able to help you with your deliverability. So for example, you send cold emails, everything was fine, but at some point, people started, stop replying to you. Okay, you feel that, okay, it's not working pretty well. And you tried, you tested the approach, but it just didn't work. And for Google, it means that, okay, started spamming, don't spam. So for Google, whenever you send, like, for example, 50 emails, normal emails, and 50 email warm up emails, that means for Google that you are sending 100 emails and you get at least 50 replies. But if you don't use warm up, it means that you are sending 50 emails and get 0 replies. That's the feature that helps you either prepare your email account for the cold emailing, or B, help you avoid some spammy patterns for some email systems. I hope it's clear.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you so much. Always warm up your domains, before sending anything. So, Ilya, thank you so much for sharing your insights. It's been super valuable. So far, wishing you all the best with expanded growth, going forward. Thank you everyone for joining us today and, asking some of the questions. Hope you got,
One thing, let's connect on LinkedIn. So people, let's connect on LinkedIn. Here's my LinkedIn account. Okay, no, here's my LinkedIn account. Let's connect. Let's write to each other.
Yeah.
I will be happy to get your feedback or some extra questions as you have. If you have any questions, just ask me. Or if you have any questions, connect with me. I'll share your LinkedIn account as well.
Yeah. So one thing that I didn't mention is that we are going to be writing a follow-up email to everyone who registered for that event. And we'll be sending both LinkedIn accounts of you and me as well. So, people are going to have like all the opportunity to connect with us. Okay. Because I don't think I have maybe I do. I can share one right now if you guys want to connect. Here it is. Oh, Irina, thank you so much. Okay. Thanks again, guys, and stay tuned for our future events. Hope to see you guys soon. And thank you so much, Ilya. Have a great evening. Bye.